all back once again. It's a nice little Friday, and Rosie Dew is joining us for a nice little stream. Yes, she eats her own shits. Yes, she's also very cute, but she even eats the shits of others. In fact, I saw her eating some bird shit the other day. She had a snake egg or what? Don't say what. Okay, I'm joking. Actually, I'm not joking, but don't message Elsa with other weird stuff, okay? Doesn't matter, okay? She's a little puppy. She's going to eat some shit. It is what it is. But that's right, Rosie. Little Rosie Dew. Oh, punching the microphone. Not good right there. Anyways, I don't think she can actually remain with me. And hey, no kissing, all right? We've spoken about the deal. The deal is I pet you and feed you, and you don't do anything. You just stand there. All right. Thank you very much, Rosie. We're going to send you back. Go back. There she goes. Good morning, everyone out there in cryptocurrency land. It's a nice little Friday morning. Maybe not even cryptocurrency land as well. I mean, shit, cryptocurrency land, boring as fuck. Well, less returns as fuck as well. All of the fun actions happening in other markets, and gold is very rapidly reaching our $5,000 target. As promised, the last few months of a parabolic advance are the craziest of crazy times, and we are absolutely in that twilight zone as of right now, as gold is just a few bucks away, about $25 away, $25.5 away from that dreaded $5,000 number. And honestly, it's very likely going to go higher than that. It's very likely going to go higher than that. When you get to these round even numbers, they become like a magnet, and what typically happens is that a lot of geniuses say, oh my god, it's rallied so much, it's a parabolic rally, it's going to burst and it's going to go down, so I'm going to short right here at exactly $5,000. What typically happens is they probably are going to be right, to some degree, but what happens first is price rallies to take out these geniuses, maybe like another 5-10%, whatever it ends up being. I don't know exactly where gold's going to settle itself. Maybe it's 5,100, maybe it's 5,500, who the fuck knows. But then after those people are liquidated and you see like that last moonshot, very quickly rejected. So what I'm looking for is like a weekly that trades to significantly new all-time highs, most likely, or at least on a monthly, significantly new all-time highs, and then slams down by the close, back down below the opening low. That is going to be a really, really, really strong signal to me that, hey, this party's over. And hey, if you do want to short at that point, that's at least what I would be looking for personally. I'm not going to be playing the gold trade, though. I am going to be very, very patient in waiting for this one to fall apart and accumulate, hopefully with a, mid 3 handle or maybe even a mid 2 handle. But that's probably years away, to be honest with you. These things don't happen all in one day. They don't happen all in 1 week or 1 month, or in this case, probably even 1 year. It's going to take its time. After it tops out, it's going to spend, some time going sideways for a while, making people think that it's going to set up another run to new highs and then slam down yet again. And this process can take, like I said, it could take multiple years. I mean, for example, the last major gold high that we saw was way back on over here. It was way back on over here in 1980. And from there to find the next major low, I mean, that happened 20 years later in the, in 2000 era, like 2000 to 2001. That's the lows right here. Fucking insane, man. That's what a real market cycle looks like for a very mature asset. Gold obviously has about 10x the market cap of Bitcoin, probably more at this point, obviously, because Bitcoin's been doing fuck all and gold's been doing fuck everything, actually. Even recently, when gold did put in the nice rally in around 2010, 2011, from this high to the next major low, which was after a major reversal from that consolidationary phase into the new uptrend, even that took 5 years almost, or 4.5 years. So these things take a lot of time, especially when you have a very mature asset like this. So while this rally is very impressive, it's going to be a long time, in my opinion, before that next major low is found. It's going to be a lot of twists and turns along the way. I mean, again, look at this over here. There were some significant rallies even after the high was in. After the high was in, you got this major move to the downside, and then a 65.25% rally to the upside following that. It's fucking intense, man. It's very fucking intense, very volatile. And from there, slamming down another 60% almost, it's just the game over and over again. Following that was a very impressive rally, an even better percentage rally than the previous one, over 76%. But did fail ultimately. So, it's going to turn into a trader's game soon enough here rather than an investor's game with gold, in my opinion. But still, a new high is very likely to come, very likely going to shoot its way past 5,000. And when we look at our indicators right here, I mean, yes, volatility is at extremes, which you just don't see that often on a time frame like this, and also onto a quarterly as well. So I would estimate still probably before the end of the first half of this year. This one is going to top out, maybe even before that, before the end of the first quarter. But still, I am absolutely no way, shape, or form advocating shorting right here, right now, unless you like massive girthy green dildos inside your bunghole so fucking hard that it's going to create a massive popsicle stick, in which that girthy green dildo comes in your bunghole, straight up through your intestines, straight up through your stomach, straight up through your esophagus, and then out your mouth hole. Now you're shish kebab, and you got impaled like a fucking Vlad Dracula, which that guy was fucking done dirty by history. I've studied this guy. He was done very dirty. He did some dirty things, okay? He did do some dirty things. He did impale some people from asshole to mouth. That is very much true. But the people that he did impale, well, look, if you're on the side of Western civilization, you should be there very thankful for him, because he was the one defining factor that really stopped the advance of Mehmed II, who was unfucking touchable. This guy, he took over Constantinople back in the day, which was a city that had not been conquered for like hundreds of years, maybe even 1,000 years, something like that. It's something crazy like that. But he did, and Vlad Dracula actually did kind of stop him. Now, at the end, Mehmed did. He fucking got him, okay? He cut off his head, cut off all of his body parts, sent him all across the different corners of their empire. But at least, he did stop his advance for that time. Check out the Netflix series on Mehmed. It paints him in a really good light and Vlad in a very bad light. I can tell you that a lot of these are ideologically driven, of course. But hey, if you like our Western civilization right now, if you appreciate some of the amazing things that we have through that, I think he is actually should be treated as a hero rather than a villain. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you're on the other side, then you probably disagree with me, and that's okay. We don't have to agree with each other, because obviously my perspective is going to be different than yours. We have different life perspectives. Anyways, back on the markets over here. Let's go check out some traditional markets. Checking out SPY futures. SPY futures did indeed confirm that higher low that we spoke about on last live stream. That was on Wednesday. Again, when a lot of people were very much concerned about this, we were looking at this saying, hey, this is what a higher low would effectively look like, grabbing onto that green 55 EMA very strongly, with only one closure below. That is kind of textbook right there. Momentum on the daily time frame is about to turn back up from the exact same level that we did see from the mid-December low when SPY was trading right around here at about 67.80 or so. And if this thing does close today, finish today above 69.62, great number right there. 69.62 and a quarter. Then yeah, we'll see that flip back onto the upside, and it's already filled the gap. So the next push through the gap probably brings it back to those prior highs. It's a long day left to go, of course. So this can fall through, but just something to keep an eye on as we head into the end of this day, because if that condition is fulfilled, I have no reason to be bearish on SPY as of right now. I still think that this one goes higher. As we went over, I think it was either this last Sunday's video or the one prior to that. While I do think that this market, similar to gold, is going to be finding a high this year, very likely, I don't think it's right now. I think it's, after the first quarter, most likely, or at least closer to the end of the first quarter at the very fucking earliest. So historically, we've seen from the RSI level that we've already entered into, about a year and a half from that to the next major high. So we're probably still 6 months to maybe a year outside of that. Maybe it comes a little bit earlier, maybe it comes a little bit later, but overall, I'm not looking for highs just yet. While this chart is crazy, I absolutely acknowledge that. I do think it gets more crazy, similar to gold, similar to gold here. But like I said, the big players right now are, of course, the commodities. You got gold, silver, copper, palladium, platinum, all of these things, man, are rallying to the moon and beyond. That is the hot thing right now. Just like when it's crypto is, you get everything in the cryptosphere as a hot thing. You're getting the exact same thing. You're getting that exact same bull market energy, but just in a different sector. So what's going to happen next. Everyone knows what's going to happen next. But right now, all of those narratives are coming out where people are saying this time is different, X, Y, Z is happening. And all of these things are what typically happens near the precipice of that bull market top. You'll notice Bitcoin, when it tops on good news. When Bitcoin topped in 2021, did it top on good news or bad news? No, it topped on good news. I think Coinbase was getting an IPO or something like that. In 2017, 2018 market, Bitcoin topped when CME futures came out, and 2014 it topped when, I forget what the narrative was there, but it's always positive news. Just like the lows come in on negative news. When did Bitcoin bottom in 2022? It bottomed when FTX collapsed, and everyone was like, oh my God, it's a reset. We're going to a recession as well, and FTX collapsing. How could anyone be bullish? And blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, dummy, for listening to the news. You are the last person to know, and you are not educated by listening to the news. You are just you are just very cleverly dissuaded from the truth into thinking that you know the truth because you're just watching entertainment pieces that are honestly just telling you what you want to hear anyways. That's why you listen to it. I mean, that's why anyone listens to any news anyways, for the most part, is you're just listening to someone who's already has your views, who's just confirming your views, so that you can feel validated in your own views, not really challenging yourself in any single way. And look, I'm not indifferent either. It's just I know that fact. Even then, I still do it if I even listen to the news, which I don't. But my point is that markets top on good news, not on bad news. So all of this good news coming out surrounding gold, all of this and that, to me, is a really strong confirming factor that, yeah, we're going to see a major fucking high in this thing before the end of the first half of this year. Maybe sooner than that, probably sooner than that, to be honest. But before then, this Bitcoin versus gold ratio, this one wants to come down, and it wants to come down more. Bitcoin, people assume that there's just going to be a rotation. There's just this fucking, God, oh man, it's so fucking obnoxious and so insufferable. Like these fucking morons who are like, the rotation from gold and metals is going to be crazy when it goes to Bitcoin. Fuck you. You idiot. I don't know if these people actually believe this, or they're just saying that again because they know that when they say stuff that makes people feel good about their current investments, then they're gonna, latch onto their channel and latch on their videos and make their view count go up and their subscriber count go up. But at the end of the day, is that going to be true? No, these markets are. I mean, there's no reason for that to happen. Did gold rally when Bitcoin topped out for its last cycle? No, they played mostly together actually. Right now, gold's got the narrative, not Bitcoin. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Just have to call a spade a spade. I still believe in Bitcoin long term. I still hold Bitcoin long term, so I'm putting my money where my mouth is, but, call a spade a spade. Is this chart bullish? No, it's not bullish right now. This one wants to come down further. And later on, yeah, it probably does end up bullish. But hey, this thing, could easily come down another 10, 20%, still be long term bullish. But like I said, if you're thinking in terms of what's a better investment for most of this year, it's going to be gold, or at least gold's not going to be losing as much value as Bitcoin, or just gains more value than Bitcoin overall, which has been doing a pretty damn good job of basically since 2025 began. So yeah, it is what it is. As always, got to be agnostic to these markets. Got to be agnostic to these markets. Got to be agnostic to the news. Got to be agnostic in general if you want to play the long-term investing game or even the short-term trading game as well. It's at the end of the day, it's all about the setups. Anyway, speaking about setups, let's go over here to Bitcoin. Just been focusing too much on gold recently. Or actually, let's go a little bit more through traditional markets. We just went over SPY. Let's go over NASDAQ futures. Again, this one is starting to finally follow. We did see a beautiful higher low right at that yellow 21 EMA. Beautifully done. That was a corrective target that we had coming off of last week's sort of stutter step at the top side of the range. That has acted exactly as you would expect on a higher low. So I really like this. Did close as that bullish engulfing dildo that we were looking at on Wednesday. So I am looking at this as now as an objective signal. This thing wants to follow through on the breakout. You got daily hidden bullish evidence on low volatility. Crown also is about to turn up. The weekly time frame is also showing that same drive of hidden bullish evidence on low volatility here as well. This one wants to play catch up, and I do think that it will be following through, with a pretty significant breakout well above 27, probably 27.5 to 28,000 bucks is going to be the implied target here based off of this formation. I am bullish on traditional markets as long as it holds this week low. It is so fucking simple right now. I'm not saying that it's 100% guaranteed to work out. There's no such thing like that in trading or investing, but there is a very obvious invalidation here. It is this week's low because that is the most recent higher low, both on the daily and the weekly now. It's making it very, very simple. If NASDAQ or SPY loses this week's low, okay, yeah, it's a long way down. We got a real reversal, come down to like 24, whatever. But now, for now, this is what you would be expecting as it reclaims that 5 EMA on the weekly time frame at the end of this week for a likely drive of continuation, in this case, likely to new all-time highs. Other than that, Coinbase looking like absolute dog shit, even worse than dog shit, breaking down as we unfortunately expected. And I actually hold this one too, although I have been selling a lot of it. But yeah, I think this one's very much coming below 200 bucks and going to stay below there for some time. Unfortunate there, but and probably not a great harbinger of things to come for Bitcoin itself, even though I do have a real big issue with like being super bear, like ultra bearish on Bitcoin right now. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin right now. I do have I'm short a call spread out of the money. We've gone over this a few times, but I'll just show it for anyone who hasn't been here recently. I'm short. Hey, You fucking bastard. There we go. I'm short the 100 versus 105 call strike for February 13th and February 6th expirations respectively. Basically, I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go above 100,000 bucks within that time frame. And if Bitcoin does go back above about 98,000 bucks, I'll just cover myself. I'll still lock in this maximum profit of 15,600 and even gain some long deltas if that were to happen. But if not, I'll just let it kind of ride, and we'll continue to add on to that options positions as time goes on. But fair enough, there's not a whole hell of a lot of trades that I want to be taking in Bitcoin land right now, but a lot of my counter signals, a lot of my major counter signals for Bitcoin, and I don't want to give out these names or anything because I'm not trying to like start beef or nothing. I don't hate these people. They're just generally wrong. I mean, it's just an observation. That's all. Sometimes I'm generally wrong as well. Like, it happens, you go through your phases, but these people have now turned like ultra bearish, calling for like, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. And maybe Bitcoin does get there, but there can be a lot of twists and turns along the way. And, short-term Bitcoin could very easily come back down to this $85,000 or $83,000 low, or even the $80,000 low. But based off of the fear and greed index, I still think it's going to be kind of difficult to get significantly new lows from here without something happening in the interim. On top of that, I should also acknowledge that something pretty nasty is occurring here for Bitcoin, actually. When we go to the 5-day time frame, well, let's actually go to should we go to the weekly or the 5? The 5 days already happened. The weekly hasn't happened just yet, but the silver cross is nearing completion to the downside. It's not going to happen this week. It's not going to happen next week, but the longer that Bitcoin is below the mid-January high of 98,000 bucks, it is inevitable. It will happen. Anytime that it has happened, I mean, these have been the confirmations of your bull trap into bear markets. Last time we saw this one happen was back here in 2022, May. Boom, big move to the downside. I mean, from that actual cross happening to the next major low was about 48.25% over the next 42 days. So things happen fast after that. COVID one over here, bit of a black swan. Don't think I trusted on that one. Obviously wouldn't have been a good time to actually short in this case. Of course, before that in 2018, again, crossing over here, boom, from there to the next major low, about 63 days and almost 50% lost. Before that, we had another cross on the bull trap of 2014. This one firing off right about here. There was a rally after that, but still about 48.5% to the downside. Did emerge over the next 77 days. It was bad. And then, of course, over here actually didn't even get it. So, this happening would not be generally good. The 5-day time frame has already happened, and the results are very similar on this one. So I don't know, maybe you can look at this as already valid. I mean, I guess in this case, it actually is. In fact, this one's kind of a better timer of things, if anything. Yeah, and as long as Bitcoin's below, especially the 21 EMA, which just used to sell off from, I mean, that's not good. It's just objectively not good. Again, like I said, I believe in Bitcoin long term, but got to call a spade a spade. Over here on the daily for the Reverend Ribbons, the ribbons. Still below the mid-band, and as long as it's below the mid-band, I still look at this bearish. But because I do see so many of those counter signals arising, I would flip to cautiously optimistic if Bitcoin were to reclaim the mid-band, and that is 92,500 bucks now. So if Bitcoin can get there and close dailies above there, I would start to really entertain the possibility that we do have a bear trap situation going on, or at least a possibility of it. But as long as Bitcoin's below, the direction is down, momentum is down, things want to go down, and next pattern target would be about just below 85,000 bucks actually. So fair enough. That is, I guess, kind of where I have to be looking for in the more short term, as long as Bitcoin again does remain below that mid band of 92.5. Looking at the historical price action statistics indicator, we actually didn't see either side of the average daily returns tested yesterday, and today is more or less the same. Bitcoin just not volatile. I mean, traditional markets are kind of moving up here. We see small gains across the board. Bitcoin just not following. Just speaking towards this general weakness. Can't even test either side. Kind of boring as fuck, man. Other than that, got the quantum wave bands over here, just closed a nice trade in another trade as well, from about the same price point. I don't know. I don't know if I like that one or not. Probably does give you a chance to get out a little more profitably above about 90,000 bucks. I do think you probably get a move like that, but still probably not my favorite one right here. See how the long-term equity curve is going, and long-term equity curve continuing to flatten out. And I look at this actually as a consolidation of the equity curve, which is what you typically see before these, major breakouts. So quantum wave bands kind of doing what they have been doing, just more or less boring recently because it hasn't made a new high on the equity curve since November 10th. The highs, which were also actually not for Bitcoin, but that was the highest level of this equity curve ever. So, you know, reversals on Bitcoin typically equate to a reversal on that, but does seem to be digging itself back out, which is overall good. This one's been very consistent as well, but not on any singular trade basis. I mean, of course, it did take a nice loss over here too, long in basically the last top from middle of January, closing at not a terrible price, but again, it's the long-term results here. Anyways, we'll go over to the old chatties. Let me see what Elsa has lined up for me over here. I also want to eat one of these bars, and in the meantime, I will show you a GIF. I will show you a very powerful GIF of a cat entering into a pastor's blouse. What are they called? I don't know, like their robes, their wizard robes. There he is. This is what happens. The secret life of cats, going in and partying till the early morning hours. Definitely on something right there. I can see his eyeballs. That looks like cocaine to me. Anyways, let's get back to it over here. Or whoops. Let me bring this over here. You don't need to see that. MSTZ for Mr. Schickman. What are we looking at? I don't know. Let's check it out. MSTZ. Let's see. Yeah, man, this one is just a fucking pain in the ass is what it is. I still think it's more likely to top here than it is to move to new highs. I don't know if that necessarily means Bitcoin's bullish though, because this is a 2x inverse type thing, and weird things happen with these things. You're kind of seeing that next high where you'd be expecting to see it if it is going to be bearish. And you do have a greater head and shoulders here now with, you know, your left derp over here, your head derp over here, and your right herp over here. So as long as you are below about $15, this does still look like a reversal to me, and it did technically trade below that December low in January as well. So if you see something like this, that to me would be very, very, very bearish for this. Again, I don't know how much it's actually going to help with Bitcoin. I do still think that MicroStrategy has a bigger bounce from that, 140 number. It's just it might test that 140 number first. All right, let me get off this chart. Where's my RSI chart? I like to use this a lot more for traditional markets. But yeah, Zeta Global, I'm curious if we have any sort of real updates here on this thing. Yeah, actually still holding the uptrend. Yeah, still good. Is it going to go straight up from here? It actually might. It is holding the midline. So we did say after it got rejected from this high, it would come back down to the middle of this range. It has, and it's actually had a pretty good rally from the middle of that range. So I would be treating this low as significant here at $19.5. If it does lose 19.5, then yeah, I got to be looking down towards the bottom side of the range at like 15.5, $16. But for now, give it a chance. You do have hidden bullish divergence on that last higher low. Volatility is a little bit higher than what I'd like to see if this thing is really going to have a real fall through. But I respect it for now because overall, longer term, I do think that this one will try some moves to the upside and break that range high. But I'm kind of unconvinced that this higher low will hold. But hey, if you do lose that one, I think it's just down to the bottom side of the range. I wouldn't call it like super bearish or anything like that just yet. What else we got? We got Retard Quant. He's looking at SLB high-term timeframes. I have a call option, 55 strike expiration, December 18th, 2026. Okay. It's a long call, man. All right, SLB limited, high-term timeframes. All right, so you're basically looking for like end of year. I'm gonna go to a monthly here. I do think that this one does have some upside. Yes, it is right at the most recent price action pivot. And by the way, if you want another similar scalping strategy, similar to this over here with the historical price action statistics, you can do the same thing on the first test of any major price action pivot, but these are all intrabar type stuff. You cannot hold these trades for long. Yes, sometimes it's gonna work out extremely well like that, but I would not fucking suggest it. If you want the very high probability move, you almost always get some, a scalpable move like you see right here. Dipping into that region. Overall, this thing very likely does trade higher. I think that it will retag these highs that you saw from September of 2023, somewhere around that monthly 200 simple, about $59.5. And you do have a monthly higher low here as well. It's probably quarterly higher low as well. Yeah, quarterly higher low right on the 200 simple. I would give this one a chance to pop back up around those highs because I think that there is a decent, a decent move to be expecting right there, especially on the monthly. You got monthly crown oscillator turning up. You got reclaiming all major movement averages as well. I think it probably extends there, and long term that actually could be good. Anyways, as far as your December expiration, you got the 55 strike long. I think that you will go in money at some point, but more importantly, I would not be holding these till the end of expiration. I would let this thing go up to like 59, 60 bucks and then sell those and take the money and fucking run, man, because volatility should explode and should make those calls worth a lot more. And I wouldn't want that on my books anyways. It's too long of a position. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're living up to your name, retard. Sorry. I didn't actually mean that, but that's just my perspective. I don't like holding things for that long. In terms of options, in terms of long options, especially, like, fucking what the fuck, man, holding long options for that long, you are asking for massive issues. But yeah, do I think you're going to go on the money before that? Yeah. Do I think that your call premiums are going to explode, somewhere around like 57, 58, 59 bucks? Yes. And I would absolutely sell around that time too, personally. Anyways, Arib is next. He is looking at GameStop. Okay. Been a while since I've seen this shit. Still probably down only, and it is still indeed down only. Man, this is a garbage chart. This is your traditional shitcoin bullshit chart. Fucking heroes from 2020 thinking that they're gonna take over the financial world or whatever the fuck bullshit narrative that they told themselves and sold themselves on there. This thing is a down only chart, man. This thing wants to come back down to 12, 13 bucks. It's bad. It's very fucking bad. It's very fucking bad. This is not a winner in this market. This is an absolute loser. It's a loser to hold. It's a loser to be involved in. It's, you are like, not you, but people who are playing this are thinking in terms of the average crypto fucking altcoin moron, idiot who thinks that or gets seduced by like these one-off massive fucking moves and think that that's just going to happen, all the time. It doesn't. It's probably never going to happen again to that effect. It tried over here during another bull market, couldn't fucking do it during the meme coin, bullshit. And it's just going to be down only, man. You might get these one-off rallies. They're just all going to fail. You are 22 bucks daily. You're long GameStop at 22 bucks daily, weekly. I think that's you longed a downtrend. Great fucking job. No offense, but great job. You longed a downtrend. The trend is your friend. I mean, you're breaking the cardinal rules of trading. You're basically expecting a reversal where there is absolutely no information that this thing is reversing, at least in my opinion, man. I wouldn't be involved in this. But that's just my perspective. You might be more of a risk taker, and that's fine. Sometimes you got to take a little bit more risk, but I wouldn't want to be putting risk on this thing unless if it takes out that December high of 24 bucks. Again, the price action pivot right here. I have no reason to even be remotely short-term bullish on this thing. Even the day, I mean, these are good places for this thing to put in the next lower high, to be honest with you, man. It's bad. It's very fucking bad. And in my opinion, you're a lot more likely to go back down to you're a lot more likely to go back down to this low below $10 than you are to reasonably go back above, let's say 25 bucks. Or especially, sorry, I would adjust that to about 28 bucks. I think you've probably seen the high of this rally, if I'm just calling it straight, but I can be wrong about that, of course, and hopefully I'm wrong about it for your sake. It sounds like you're already in profit. Fair enough. Just long-term, the trajectory is down. You're trying to play one of those one-off moves. I think it's just a difficult game to play. I don't understand why you'd want to play that game on something that's more obviously uptrending. If you want to be long something, man, that's just my opinion. I don't even know what gap you're talking about, to be honest with you. What gap on the weekly? There is no gap here on the weekly to be targeting. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Maybe you're on a daily. There's a gap here, perhaps. I don't see a gap here that hasn't been filled anyways. I mean, if there's any gaps, it's to the downside. So yeah, I don't see it, man. I'm sorry. Luffy, hey, what's up, Luffy? Sir, ZRO, I want your permission to short it. Well, definitely borrow conviction from some moron like me on YouTube. All right, this is one random crypto. I actually don't hate shorting it right here. You are at the weekly 55 EMA. The weekly RSI is already significantly higher than any high you've seen for the last year, going all the way back to when this thing was trading, at 375, now trading, about half that, or sorry, not half that number, but 30 to 40% down from that number. Yeah, technically this would be a good place for a lower high. I personally don't like to short random shitcoins because you do get these one-off crazy moves every once in a while, but you're still on lower highs here. So I think that this is going to be another one of those failed rallies, but does it top out here and hold that long-term downtrend? Does it go a little bit higher? honestly, I think you're going to be on the right side of that trade. I do. And there is good reason, generally this would be where I'm looking for. I just personally don't like alts or to play alts, even if I think that they're generally bearish. I think it's very difficult to take short positions because they can get these illiquid, amazing bounces, which can put you under pressure. So I don't know. It's up to you. Like I said, maybe you just have more of an appetite for risk. I don't hate this area for taking a short. I personally just wouldn't do it. That's just me. If you're wrong, then, if I'm wrong and it goes higher, then you're probably looking at about $2.80 to $3. So you'd have to be able to weather that storm. I don't think you're going to be going above like $3.50 or anything like that. But are you okay with that risk? That's a question only you can answer. I think you're going to be right on direction. It just might take some time to play out. That's all. Yeah. Anyways, Giovanni Ashi says Circle. Sure, man. We can look at Circle. Circle is one that I have on my list. I'm looking for a long-term position on it, but I think that this one comes down a lot more. Similar to Gemini, I'd like to have long-term positions in these, but I not here. I think that these things are coming much further down. Typically, when you come back down to your IPO low, you're going lower. You're going like a lot lower. This is not good. I don't think it's putting in lows here or anything like that, man. 2018 OG here. Fucking yes. I love it, man. I fucking love it when I see the OGs here. But yeah, as far as this chart goes, man, I think that this one's going lower. If anything, I think that this thing's getting ready to break its next consolidation to new lows. Let's see. I would like to make a rate of change. Doing a bad job of it here, but dude, I would not be surprised to see this thing down around $40. Again, I want a long-term position in this, but not here. This thing wants to come lower. It reminds me a lot of Gemini as well. Same shit, man. Same shit. Putting in a very bearish formation here on the lows too. Just lower, high, same lows. It wants to break lower. It wants to break lower. It wants to do it so bad. It wants to fucking do it. Just let it do it. Just let it do it. Just go back to your home. Just go back to your home. Have a little tappy in your life. Go back home. Go back home. You want to come down to like $6, $7, $8. It's okay. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, man. Lunar is one that I hold myself. So full disclosure, biased, but I'm biased because I think it's good. We identified this one, or someone identified this one on this channel back at like $13, $14. They brought it up on this channel. I'm forever grateful for that because I took that position. It has broken through. It's more or less retested those highs. I do think you're in a pullback phase right here, but overall, this is good. In my opinion, this thing will take out those 2025 highs and move to the upside. I mean, making kind of like a guesstimation implied target. We're looking somewhere between. It's 23 on the 23 versus 10. So it's 13, I don't know, mid 30s, mid 30s, maybe $40 once it does actually break through that high. But right now it's a consolidation time. I don't expect this one to bust through to new highs from right here. I think my LARP line is going to be wrong. It needs to be adjusted a little bit up, maybe something like this. Overall, I think it will break to new highs. I think it's going to take some time. I don't think it's moving right now, man. It's already had a pretty sizable move. And, popping back up to these highs right here, it's likely to take its time before having like the real breakthrough attempt. So yeah, man. Oh, fuck yeah. All right. I was waiting for that one because now it is time for a food break. Un momento, por favor. If you've been to Club Costco, check out the paleo bars. They're great. They're so good. They have a ton of sugar in them too, man. It's great. Take it before a workout. You have like the energy of the gods. You have the energy of a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old niece. She has amazing energy. She was sick as fuck one time, and she was going the whole goddamn day. It's impossible to keep up with her. It's insane. I have the energy of a 3-year-old, and I fight like a crow. All right, Diego's back. He's looking at EXSA. Some European shitcoin index. I don't know when or how I drew this one out, but I think the same. So it is bullish though overall, but I think it's going to drop down a little bit. Technically, I need to see it close below about 59.5 to validate this move lower, but it is objectively bullish overall, I think. I do think that this one is going to make new highs regardless this year. Like earlier, this quarter. 57.5 still or up. Mm, the hesitation right here does make me think that you will get 57 and or sorry, it's not 57 and a half. It would be like 58 and a half. But it is good overall. It also could just be, you know, down here, fill the gap at 59 and 3/4 and then up. Could be that as well. Depends how bullish it is, but I do think that this one makes new highs this probably this quarter, man. All right, what else we got? Ty hit. He's looking at uranium mid to long term. Gotcha. Back around the highs. Pretty good overall. Yeah, this one wants to push through as well. Just put in a monthly higher low right here at 50. Sorry, not 50, but 42, 43 bucks. I think next obvious target is going to be this high from February 2012 at 65, 66 bucks. I think you're generally on a trajectory towards there. Long-term, mid-term, maybe more of a consolidation here after it retests the price action pivot. Might come down for like one more higher low, but up is the name of the game. Maybe it just breaks through right there as well. I'm not exactly sure. Long-term, it feels a lot more steady though. Base 4267 says Netflix daily weekly close to a bottom. I don't know. Let's check it out. Yeah. I think that this is a low off the price action pivot. It's for the same reason that we went over earlier with the price action pivots. A lot of the time, it will be like a, you know, a short-term bounce target, but I think that this one will actually be a big bounce here. Because these were effectively the spike lows that we saw from 2025, so that does matter, and I do think that it will bounce significantly from here. I'm not sure if like the low is in, so to speak, but I think that you're gonna get a pretty sizable bounce attempt here over the next few weeks, something like this. Does it actually go to the upside or break to the downside from there? I don't know, but I do think that the low for now is in. The low for now is in. It's gone low enough. I don't think it wants to go lower right now. Later on, if it does break lower, then I guess the next obvious target is going to be about 71-ish. But until then, I think it's going to take a long time to shake itself out. You know, you got to give it some time to bounce first, then reassess. Where could I call it bullish? I mean, the price action pivot here at 127, sorry, 126 and 3/4 almost is going to be the only objective level to be fair. I don't know, maybe you could call it over here as well, but it's very far away. It's not worth talking about. So I think whatever bounce you get from here is going to fail on the first attempt. You create a range, you go sideways for a while. It's just going to take a lot of time. So I don't think it's worth talking much about other than that, man. But yeah, the question quite literally is it close to a bottom? Yes, it is close to a local. It is a local low in my opinion. I think this is absolutely going to be a local low, or extremely likely to be a local low, I should say. But it doesn't mean that the bounce is not going to fail. I think it's going to bounce from here and then come back to it after that. Patrick says, hi, can you please check out NVIDIA? Sure. 1 day weekly. NVDA. Gotcha. Really good. Weekly time frame, reclaiming the red 5 EMA after another corrective move to the 21. It's a weird one because it's consolidating like a bizarre way here. I'd kind of take the bitch way on this one. I do think it will be bullish. You do have an inverted head and shoulders, and more importantly, you just have a higher low right here in comparison to this low right here. So I would treat it like this. If it can trade and close back above this local high from 5th of January at 193.5, I think that this thing goes to new highs. Not gonna lie, like the quarterly looks pretty tired to me. Not gonna lie, I fucking hate using that phrase as a crutch, but yeah, came out right there. Anyways, my point is that I would have to treat this one as a higher low right now. That also does imply if it even just trades and closes back below this past Tuesday's low at 177.30, I would flip around to being looking for another move down towards the bottom side of the range at 164.5, and maybe this thing even breaks down from there. It's very possible. But for now, I'd still give it the benefit of the doubt, go with the former trend, which is to the upside. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Really impressive uptrend. Don't know how much more that one really realistically will go. Great White Hype says AVGO on the weekly and monthly. Gotcha. This one's got to be a new one, I think. Broadcom. No, it sounds familiar. That looks like a top. Bearish divergence, 1, 2, 3 drives on the monthly. On extreme volatility. Quarterly, looks like a selling dildo right there, and bearish divergence here too. I do think that this one will come down a little bit below $300 most likely this year. Yeah, I think you're actually kind of, you might get one more bounce attempt right here, but I think that this thing wants to come down now below $300, like to 290 in the not so distant future, like, I don't know, over the next month or two. I'll be wrong if it trades back above last week's high, 360, and then it's obviously bullish, but for now, I see a lot more things suggesting down than I do up. So yeah. The Vonyuk says, deep, it's always difficult to say your name, man. Deep Yellow, DYLLF, sure. DYLLF, gotcha. Deep Yellow, not bad. Not bad. Reapproaching that last trending high, so that's overall bullish. It does have a higher low and monthly hidden bullish evidence here into new highs. I think this one wants to go to new highs and beyond. This is a really strong move to see it eat up that sell-off from last October so quickly. I think this is really good, actually. I don't know where it's going, but it's going up. Or I don't know the exact price point, but it's going up. 120 versus 50, like 45 cents. I don't know, 70 cents, on the breakout. So maybe like $2 plus, something like that. This is good. It's an OTC bullshit stock, but I have to be absolutely bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're above last week's low for sure. And then even like $1 is kind of a big pivot there too. So yeah. All right, what else do we have here? Mr. Escobar, hello, sir. Can you look at FECGX? Okay, completely new one this time. FECGX, yep, okay. So this is Fidelity Small Cap Growth Index Fund. Okay, interesting. And what do you know? Rallying with the Russell 2000 as well. Fresh new all-time highs, very good. Technically, you'd want to see the monthly close above that prior high from February 2021. I don't think you need to wait for that. Personally, I wouldn't. I think this thing wants to go up, and it wants to go up big. $32 versus 20, so about 10. I think that this thing's going to go to 40-ish, somewhere around there. Sweet. Yeah, long term, I have no reason to not like this thing as of the current. And, in validation wise, it's just this month's low, I guess, at 31.5. If you take out that level, then I suppose back down to like 28. I don't think that's what's happening, but that'd be my invalidation for right now. Simo Haya says, Crown, are you aware? Maybe. You aware of the civil war in Bitcoin community that flared up last October? So a little bit, hold on, I'm getting a call right now. What is this? Hello? Yep, what's up? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. Fucking people call in all the time and shit. Annoying. All right, let's get back to Simo Ohio. Crown, are you aware of the civil war in Bitcoin community that flared up last October? A little bit, but not really. Devs of the most widely used software pushed update that radically changed Bitcoin. Fiboswani may be a good interview on it. Yeah, I these are things that I don't really keep up with too much. I am aware that there has been some like major disagreement, with within the Bitcoin community between, I think it has to do with like Satoshi's lost coins or something like that. I don't know. I am certainly not qualified to talk on it. I can tell you that. Elsa's squealing in the background. Who knows why? She scared little Rosie, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask about this. To to be honest, I just don't have the time. Like, I have so many things going on. I just don't have the time to figure out the Bitcoin drama, even though I probably should know because I am invested in it. So actually, that'll probably be my next thing to study. So thank you for reminding me, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, but I'm not qualified to speak on it right now, man. I don't know. It's weird because people who I used to think were like heroes of the Bitcoin community, if, you know, as developers, it seems like now the Bitcoin community is kind of turning against them. So I don't know really which side I'd be on just yet, or if I have to even pick a side, but yeah. Cool. All right. We got 773 area next. He's looking at SKR hourly. Sure. It's a crypto pooper. Oh, okay. Well, I know a lot about that. Seeker coin or Sakaru protocol. Which one could it be? Nobody knows. Maybe it's this thing. Oh, what do you know? Fucking great. Must be the other one. Must be the other one. Please tell me it's the other one. Excuse me. Whoops. Did it again. Okay, so it's been around for less than a month. It just had its massive parabolic rally in the first couple of days. Now down. This might be a down only chart, sir. The down only might be setting in right now in front of our very faces. I don't know, man. There is way too much of a lack of history here to do any real analysis on. If I'm going by intuition, I don't even have an intuition here. It's 3 days old, dude. You're on an hourly. I get it. Look, it's a downtrend. Yes. I would have to follow the trend here, but this is such a low term time frame on such a new asset that personally, like, look, I would call it down, but it's too new because these things can pump out of nowhere. But generally they all fail. It's just usually they get like a little bit of time to try that. What's up, Bear Nutrition? I see you, man. Not screaming, just yawning like a firework. Yeah. It's keeping everyone awake, especially Rosie. D Cowboy says, hi, sir, UEC weekly, monthly, and at 1512. This is a long for me, looking for a place to add. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to crack open another one of these, energy bars here. Okay, so you're in at 1512. Okay, so you're in big profit right now. Amazing. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, man. This is great. Oh, I'm on an hourly. That's why. So you kind of longed the breakout there. All right. It's not my preferred trade, but it's working out. I think it's going to continue to work out for you. Although this rally is pretty mature. I don't think it's done just yet, though. This is a long for me. Looking for a place to add. Thoughts on Mag 7? Sir, one fucking question at a time, sir. Looking for a place to add. I think, if you got to pull back down to like 17-ish, 17 and a quarter, 17 and a half, I think that'd be okay. I mean, we're obviously assuming that this thing's going to fall through significantly, and I think overall it is good, and it probably does have, another quarter of new highs to go, but kind of aggressive to add there, in my opinion. I wouldn't, but if I had to add, that would be where. You have a pretty obvious invalidation pretty much at your entry, actually. Below there, this thing is a failure, but yeah, for now, yeah, it's good. Meta is the only one trading at a discount. We could look at Meta really quick. Meta platforms. Yeah, it does seem to be putting in a nice consolidation right here. You do have that weekly higher low, so it probably does follow the rest of this market. It did come down and correct that monthly yellow 21 EMA on hidden bullish evidence. So I do think this one is going to be good. Oh God, it's all sorts of shit in my ear. Well, quarterly looks really fucking weird to me. That's where I don't really know. I guess the validation of this thing being good would have, oh, look at that. Block line's doing pretty well. Would have to be back above the 200 simple, which is also the 680 number. Back above there, I guess I'm bullish again. For right now, there are good reasons to be bullish, I suppose, but that'd be my validation. Bearishness would be validated below basically this week's low. Cool. D Cowboy says, you mentioned you prefer not to hold long options. In what scenario would you execute a leap option? Leaps can make sense if you just want like very long-term exposure. I can understand that. I just personally don't like to do things that way. Just a preference, really. In what scenario would you, if you're going to do a leaps option, like you're buying a leaps option, I think you'd have to be very long-term bullish, like very long-term. Like if you want to hold something for I don't know, 3 to 5 years out, okay, maybe doing things on a leap option could make sense. I can understand that for sure. But it'd have to be like very far out, like you are very far out long. I mean, like you are bullish for the very long term, very, very long term there. Chris Bella says Matrix. Okay, interesting again. Remember what this one last time, but I don't remember. That's the problem with shitcoins here. It's right in front of your face. Like it looks bullish for a second, then immediately sells off. Look, I'm going most off of shitcoin analysis rather than like real technical analysis, but hidden bearish divergence, big wick to the upside on a lower high closing basis. I think this one comes down from here. I think it's done. The long-term trajectory is towards zero. And that's a pretty good one-off rally. So yeah, send it down now. Ashley's back. She's looking at PLG. Wait, that's a 4-hour, but also the weekly is good too. Yeah, breaking that previous high, really, really good. Higher low right there, really, really good. Hidden bullish divergence right there, really, really good. The breakout's real. I think this thing's going to, you know, around $4. If it gets really crazy, it'll probably just spike these highs at like 5.5. But I think it at least gets to like a little bit above 4, something like that. Long term, pretty ugly chart, but the reversal, this very well might be a reversal. You do have a higher low here, and trading back above that 55 EMA is a pretty good sign in the interim. Yeah, I'm inclined to say that it will go somewhere around this previous high. Sothar says, Lovey Crown, where is my back you promised to me? Wait, what? What? English? Can I give you a TA for silver chart? Can you I give a TA for silver chart for time frame for today until next month? Wait, what? I think it's a request for silver, but I'm not exactly sure. It's good. Did get $100, just like gold to 5,000. Probably going to overshoot this a little bit too. I think we were tentatively looking at like 110 or something. For some reason, I have that in my mind. Yeah. Again, last throws of this parabolic blow off top, but you know, probably goes, you know, another like 5-10% higher, I'd imagine, for timeframes for today until next month. I think you misunderstand the role of timeframes here. When I'm talking about timeframes, I mean like literally the time frame on the chart. Like this is a daily time frame because every bar represents one day. I'm not just looking at the next day of price action though, man. And like the next month, I'm looking at a monthly time frame. So each one of these is 1 month, but I'm not necessarily talking about the next month of price action. I'm talking about the monthly time frame, which happens over many months, you know, when we're talking about moves. But yeah, I think it still goes a little bit higher here to wash out $100 shorters. Maybe that's 105, maybe that's 110. I don't know, but I'd be very mindful. What I'm looking for next is I'm looking for something like this. It trades up intra-week. It's not going to be this week, by the way. Trades up intra-week, and then by the end of the week, it finishes lower than the open of the week. If you see something like that, that'd be like my obvious short signal at this point. But for now, I think that this thing still has some more to go. Might even take another month. It's all good, Zothar. It's all good, man. I figured it was auto-correct or some shit like that. It's all good, man. I speak in like retard English as well, very often, very fucking often. Chris Velo says XRP or doggy. Let's go with XRP. Oh. Last we looked at this, I was suggesting there's probably gonna be like another bounce attempt off of 180. I still kind of think the same thing, but if you close below 180, the problem is that your risk is all the way down to like 130. And that's probably gonna be a very quick move too. So I don't know. It's a very strange one here because all of the higher term timeframes look bizarre and if anything bearish. lower term timeframes, you're resting on some major movement averages. It's like it wants to break down. It's just, I don't know if it happens right now. I think it can get drawn out sideways for longer. Probably move this LARP line right here a little bit further down. You might get one more bounce as well. If you get one more lower high, then I'd say that's probably going to be it. But I don't think you're breaking down right now, and I don't think you're going to bounce necessarily right now as well. I think it's like range on the lows for a little while, then probably try a bounce. And if that bounce puts in a lower high below 220, then yeah, then you're probably in breakdown territory. But I think it's just uneventful, similar to Bitcoin right now. Yeah, weird. Let's look at the yearly. Yeah, probably reconnect with the 5 EMA. So at some point in this year, I do think it will break down. That might be November. I don't know when it's going to be. Andrew Plus says, I'm sidelined on everything and hate the market. Nice emoticon. Do you have any ideas for parking cash somewhere to generate yield? You could put it in a money market. You'll get, 3.5% or so. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. At least somewhat. It kind of covers you from inflation if you think CPI is inflation. Kind of, I guess. Money market. Okay, AP 66666 is looking at iron, and then he comes back and he's looking at Palantir. Iron, I know we looked at both of these, but this one's actually looking okay. Yeah, we looked at this one earlier this week. Yeah, I don't think it's going to break through here, although I do think it is bullish, and I do think it will break this high at like $58.5, but I don't think it's right here. Although, the daily might do it. It's possible, but I still need to see a closure above $58.5 to call a breakout. I think you're more likely to do something like this. It's still bullish either way. If it does break out here, then great. Just retarget those prior highs, and it's probably just going higher from there anyways. Overall decent. But if I had to call it, I think that this rally right now fails, comes back down, sets in a higher low, then tries the upside move. Palantir as well. Palantir, another one that I own. Consolidating still at the highs. This is starting to look a lot more like a sloppy toppy. I don't necessarily think that it's bearish or anything like that. I just think it's sloppy toppy. Next move is probably a short-term rally back around here, but it is on lower highs as long as you're below about 182.5. So it might rally up to like 179. Top out again, and then get an actual move to the downside. But I'm not necessarily bearish on it long term. The yearly is still good. It can afford a pretty sizable pullback, even to like 130, for example. I'm not saying it's going to go down there, but just for example's sake, could easily go down around there and still be long term bullish. Keep in mind, this thing also went from literally $5, about $5-6, all the way up to 200 plus. That's really insane. That is, What even is that? That's a 30x. Wait, no, it's more than a 30x. Crazy, fucking crazy. I don't know. Am I crazy for thinking that after a 30x move off the lows, it's going to spend a long time consolidating at the highs and probably have some downside within there? Maybe I am, but that's what I'm going with, because you do have a monthly lower high here. I do think that you will come down here at some point, but long term, it's good. I'm going to continue to add to this position if it comes down to like 140, for example. Not a signal or suggestion for anyone else to do, but for my long term bags, I'd be happy to add there. Other than that, don't really have anything else to say about it. I don't think you're going to be making new highs this year, or at least not before playing out a deeper correction. Hopefully I'm wrong on it. Shit, like I said, I do hold this, but I'd also like to buy more, so it is what it is. Anyways, Rec to Riches says, can you look at Rose short, medium term? Sure. Rose. Yes, the privacy coin. What do you know? What do you fucking know? Oh, amazing. Just fucking amazing. Unbelievable. Anyone have any insight into Trump-China's trade summit? Well, I'm glad you asked, sir, because I actually am an insider. I've just been hiding it from everyone. Yeah, man. I am literally President G. And I can tell you, China's coming to butt fuck you. Guys, I've been holding this back from everyone, but I actually have level 10 security clearances. You probably don't even know about it because most people think it goes up to like level 5, but actually I'm level 10, and I can tell you for sure this is what they're talking about. Yeah, don't even think President Xi speaks English, so good luck understanding him. I don't know, maybe he does. I have no fucking idea. Yeah, as far as this thing goes, that's a great place for the next macro lower high. I mean, why the fuck are you even looking at this thing, man? This is just fucking garbage. Like, for real. For fucking real. There are a million things and one that are bullish in this market right now. It's not this thing. It's not fucking this thing. Holy shit, it's not this thing. Crown, how dare you? Sorry. I did not mean to give up this information. If you're playing this piece of absolutely amazing technology, then I guess your best bet is to just hope and pray for one of these one-off bounces that will fail, will almost undoubtedly fail. And at best, I think you'd get up to like 3 cents. But even then, I don't think so. I think that this thing is objectively topping here. You're topping out at the daily 200 simple. That is kind of where you'd be expecting on a shit asset like this to put in its local highs. If it were to get one more push, I think your risk is 3 cents. But yeah, this is a down only chart. This is garbage. This is terrible. Just terrible. It's absolutely like what in what fucking world, with all the infinite possibilities of like actually good things out there in the world, would you decide to choose this thing? I just don't get it. I just don't. Please help me understand. I need to know. Batman86 says, hey, Crown, PL stock, how does it look? I don't know. Let's look at it. Oops, that's not it. Platinum futures. That can't be right because you said PL stock. That's futures. Maybe you're talking about Planet Labs. Planet Labs. Yeah, man. I don't know on this one. If I go down to a daily, I think that you got one more push to the upside. Daily hidden bullish divergence on a higher low. Probably going to put in one more new high at least. I do think the higher term time frames are pretty tired here, so I'd be defensive on these. But for now, I think you got new highs to come. I just don't know how much higher it's going to, realistically has before a major correction. At some point, I think that this thing will come down to like $15. So there's that. But I do think you're going higher before that. How much higher do you go? I don't know. Maybe it goes like, 35, then down to 15, something like this. But yeah. You're building divergences on pretty much every time frame. Like, I really don't know how much more it has to go. I don't think that much more, but I'd still take it one leg at a time. For now, it is still bullish, though. It is actually still bullish. And I would only invalidate short-term bullishness if it came back down below yesterday's low of 25.14. Dale Lane says, can you look at Elsa on the 15? Yeah, Elsa, do you know you have a shit coin now? Elsa coin. It's Elsa versus the dollar on Coinbase. You're trading on Coinbase like crazy. Well, I could never short Elsa. Look, I mean, this thing is probably just it's a long-term trend towards zero. Is this going to be the all-time high for forever right here? I don't know. It's a little bit too early to say that. Usually I like to wait for like a month or two of price action. But long-term, the direction is down. So I don't know, man. On a 15-minute time frame, I think you got to bounce here. That's about as far as I can see. I think you bounce back up to like 18.5 cents. Am I bullish on it? Not really. Other than that, yeah, no real opinions. Just very, very, very short term, an extension of this bounce is what I'd be looking for, which hopefully is relevant to you because you are on the 15-minute. Yep, we already did Palantir, so we're good there. Let's see. Freddie M 9579 says BitF closing price today for you to be short-term bull. So what price would it need to close above today in order for me to have a bullish bias, I suppose? Okay, maybe let's get off the 15-minute. When you say bullish, I mean, what exactly are you referring to? Because if it closed above last week's high, 3.25, yeah, that'd be obviously bullish to me. For right now, I mean, that is a lower high, and I have to kind of be biased towards this thing coming down to like 2.25 in the short term. Daily time frame, I'm not getting too much from this that's helpful. The dominant trend right now on the daily is to the downside. So I have to be more inclined to say it's going to put in a high here at like 285, 290, come down and come down here, and then have like a true bounce. But yeah, if you're asking about literally today, what would need to close above in order for me to be bullish, like heading into this as, you know, as a breakout above like $3.5, $4, I guess last week's high is the objective pivot here. So yeah. Let's see what else. Freddie M's back. He's looking at CL. What? All right, I'm going to continue then, and you can type. KAV. I do think I didn't see this one. Greetings there. Oklo on the 5-day, please. Sure. Oklo on the 5. Is this a stock or a crypto? That's a real question. It is yeah, it's stock. Okay, cool. All right. It's a lot more interesting. And what time frame were we on again? 5-day. Okay, interesting. Not bad, not good. It's just in a consolidation right here. The high of the consolidation is basically the last 5-day high at 115.72. Price action pivot, getting it perfectly. Low side is going to be this low here at about 72 and change. I think that you're going to come down to the bottom side of this range and bounce again. Something like this. So I can't speak. Like I said, I am redacted as well. I do think this one actually does have some bullish bias on it overall, but in the short term, yeah, I do think it's going to come down. And what I'm expecting to see is a big bounce at around $73, something like that. In other words, I don't think it's going to break down from here. I think it's going to trade sideways and down, hit that level, then bounce up. Hopefully take out this prior high at 114.25. Then bullish confirmation. Good. Yeah, something like that. It's not bad. It's just not good right now. Like immediately good. All right. Let's see. Freddie M is back. He's looking at CLSK. Okay. Short term up. Short term probably pops back up around these highs at $15.5. Weekly good, hidden bullish evidence in the last weekly low. Yeah, I'm looking at 15.5 and closing above there validates a move back up towards the top side of the range at 22, 23, whatever it ends up being. Just top side of that range again. Yeah, actually having a pretty good response here, in fact. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Just want to see that closure happen, but yeah, that would be the next sort of areas of interest. And like I've been saying, the longer that this thing holds sideways between 20 and 10, it is bullish. Like the more and more that it holds sideways there, the more and more that it will have a bullish bias. And I think that we're starting to get closer to that resolution, but not quite there just yet. Excuse me. Very unprofessional. Mr. Escobar says, Crack, can you do NPPTF? Okay, NPPTF, another new one for me. Or no, we have seen this before. It's an OTC bullshit stock, but down. I think you just found your next lower high right here. You have hidden bearish divergence on what is a rejection of the weekly 55 EMA. This is like picture perfect right now. I think this one's coming back down. It's not going to come down all in 1 week, but I think your next move is back down to these lows. Do these lows hold again or not? I think you're at least going to get something resembling a bounce there. But yeah, I think next move is down. I have no reason to be bullish on this as long as you're below the price action pivot here, which is 83.5 cents. Cool. Biff the Bull, what's up, man? Meta, we kind of looked at this one earlier. I'll go back to it just briefly here. If you're just on the daily or the weekly. Weekly, I like this bullish engulfing dildo it's got going on. Still another 3 hours, 41 minutes to go. But if it closes above 653, 654, it will confirm that. And at that point, I'd be looking for, just test that 680 range high. And I mean, generally, it's probably just going to fly back up and fill the gap here at 745 from there. I'd only get bearish on this thing if it really comes back down below this month's low. If it comes back down below this month's low, okay, yeah, easy bearish call. But for now, I see a higher low. It's having the signals that you want to have if you are going to have a legitimate attempt to pop back up towards the range highs and be a bullish consolidation. So probably still overall good. But again, below basically this week's low, actually, I'd be bearish. And I'd be bearish for a move down to like $500 or so. But for now, yeah, go with the trend, my man. At least that's what I'd be doing. You're also looking at Bert coin or Bert. Yeah, it is fucking Bert coin. Oh God, my derp coin How has no one made derp coin just yet? People's real money, Elsa. Getting flushed down the toilet. It's not really not funny, and it's disgusting that you laugh at it. Like, look, guys, I'm really sorry Elsa's doing this right now. It's very embarrassing, even for me. But she thinks it's funny when you lose money. I don't. I think it's disgusting. But she laughs, and that's. I mean, honestly, Elsa's just very immature. Okay. I'm not gonna stop, and yeah, and you're not even ashamed at all. You think it's funny. Andrew Plus says, how CopX looking to you? Copper ETF. I don't know. Let's check it out. I think last we looked at copper in general was pretty good. Yeah, still pretty good here. Hidden bullish divergence on another higher low. New highs, man. New highs. New highs. I'm inclined to say it's going to get to 90, 90, 91. I mean, probably just going to go for 100 plus here. It's a great move. This is a great move here, and it's similar to silver. We could make an implied target off the Fibonacci extension, or I guess I already have it. Honestly, I do think it's gonna meet all of these areas of interest here, all the way up to 96, and at that point, probably just gonna go at least to like 100 and maybe a little bit beyond. But just like silver, just like gold, I don't know how much more long in terms of time this one has to go, but everything in that sector is getting big rallies, big rotational pull down there. So yeah. Mr. Escobar says, Crown, my son's been showing interest in trading lately. Got any pointers I can use to help guide him? Okay, so actually I'm going to be releasing a completely free TA 101 playlist on my YouTube soon. And that'll be a good place to start. It's basically all of the best things that I've learned over the past 15 plus years distilled down into just the most important stuff, like the most important stuff. It'll be completely free. It'll be available on YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of other good resources on YouTube as well. Absolutely, there are. I don't know exactly who they are because I don't really spend my time looking for that. But I'm sure you can figure it out. Other than that, man, I don't think spending money on programs and shit like that makes sense right now. I think you can do a lot while he's young. That's free, and we'll set him up for later. You don't need to force anything right now. If he's showing interest right now, I don't know how young he is, but that's a good sign, man. I started incredibly young, and I think that was integral in my overall career. I really don't know where I'd be without that, to be honest. Ray now says, Crown, are you an Android user or an iPhone user? Android, ma'am. Android. I fucking hate iPhone. It makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick. It makes me fucking sick. Can't handle these fucking iPhones. Ban Elf Elsa. Yeah, she must be stopped. She must be stopped. Natural Gas Weekly says Turbo. Sure. What is your natural gas ticker? Do you just go nat gas? Maybe it's this. I don't know, man. Testing a major high like this, I'm this is a 4-hour time frame. It doesn't matter. Bullish. Hidden bullish divergence on that last higher low. You're already at the prior high. This thing wants to break through. Whether it pulls back from here or not is irrelevant in my opinion. It is bullish, and it very likely does work its way up to $6 plus. Long term, that is. Blake is looking at TGB. Tayseco miners. So far, pretty good. Yeah, taking out this last high from November 2010 is a very good sign. I think this thing's going to head up to probably just $10, honestly. Close to $10 at least. Like 9.25 at least. Probably just from there, it gets to like 10 plus. Cool. Team Android, fuck yeah. Yeah, man. But I am on Samsung, so it's not that much different than iPhone. Let's see what else we got. Morning Crown, I want to hear the shitcoin siren. Mind looking at the gate. Oh God, I can't do it right now. We don't even have the shitcoin siren at the moment. We've been doing so much traditional market stuff recently that I've forgotten all of the things that we can do to the very bad, very nasty, very ugly shitcoins. Respect for Crown. Knowing he despises iPhone too. Yeah. I don't like Apple shit in general, man. But apparently it is more secure. is what I do here. It is more secure. Like if you're concerned with safety features, like sorry, not safety features, but literal security of like people hacking into your phone and shit like that. Apparently, iPhone actually is better. At least that's what I've heard. Teach discipline. Yeah, I mean, have them go to a martial arts course. Do something like that, man. That'll teach them a lot. Let's see. Bankers. Wait, what? Okay, I don't care, man. So I don't care that much about that. ABCL daily chart. Sure. ABCL. Okay. All right, new one for me. Let's go to a weekly. I'm biased to say it's going to get one more shot to 580. But I don't like long-term is just a shitcoin chart. So it's like, yeah, it probably rallies, but it makes it very difficult to call anything a reversal here just because it only has history of going down. So I wouldn't do that personally just yet. Teresa Young says, why did Optimism or open source code get a 6 to 9 billion evaluation with tons of debt on the books for EV economic value? I can't wrap my head around why this token hasn't rebounded. That's a really good question, Teresa. Have you also wondered why Doggycoin got to like 10 billion in valuation? I wonder this too. Or like any random fucking meme coin getting billions of dollars in valuation, which is very obviously not valuable in any way, shape, or form. But sir, we have the community. We have the community. That's right. And the whole community is poured together. And there's nothing more community orienting and bringing together people like glue than misery. Misery loves company. And who loves to be misery more than herpety derps buying basically just giant pieces of shit being promised economic riches when in reality it usually doesn't work out like that, unfortunately. Can we look at Tesla really quick? I'm looking for a long-term position. Sure. Full disclosure, I do own this one as well. Where is my Tesla derp? There it is. 448. Yep. So it's still holding the line that I'd want to see if it's going to continue to be bullish from here. If you're looking to invest for the long term, okay, I would tell you what I would do right now, not because it's going to work out 100%, but actually don't mind longing this right here and using, most importantly, this week's low as an invalidation. As long as it's above 417, especially on a daily closing basis at this point, I would treat this as the next higher low in a series of higher lows. That to me is investable. If it loses this week's low, I would capitulate on that position, take a small paper cut loss and position lower, somewhere around like 375, 380, something like that. Biff the Bull says, Apple one day weekly, greatest phone on earth. Wait, I know you ain't talking to me. I know you ain't talking to me. Yeah, that's right. Apple going down. No, of course. I mean, they have a great stock. They have a great company. No doubt about that. They're one of the best American companies. Obviously, I just don't like iPhones, man. It's just my preference. That's all. Yeah, I am a hater. And you are homosexual. Monthly is bearish divergence here. There's nothing wrong with being a homosexual, by the way. I know one. Her name is Elsa, and she's really gay, and I love her. She's amazing. I love her. Monthly is bearish divergence, and that is a swing high. I think it does come down to like 230 or so is the next move. Other than that, maybe a short-term bounce along the way, but yeah, somewhere down around there. Long-term, it's probably still good. Like yearly isn't, well, it's not great. It's not terrible. If you got another shot around like 225 to 230, I think that would be, at least for me, decent enough to put risk on, but I'm not really looking at Apple personally. Great White Hype says, Mike strategy on the 4-hour daily, trying to break out. Hopefully it's bouncing from the areas that we've been speaking about for a while. Yeah, I still think this one tries to bounce from here. Is this a breakout right? No, sir, this is not a breakout right now, but it does have a higher low in place. Some phantom bullish divergence on this low as well. If you're on a 4-hour time frame, no, this is not a breakout, but I am biased towards it bouncing, and I think even in the short term, you're going to hit like 170, 171 region, at least, something like that. Something like this. Dale Lane says, I would be gay for Jesus. Man, that's actually a really good thought experiment. Like, would Jesus have loved gay people like around him? And I don't know, love thy neighbor, fuck thy neighbor. No, like actually have sexual relationships with your neighbor. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. We need a biblical scholar to step in here. Tommy Dick a son. Is that, wait, to my, it looks like Tommy Dickinson, but it also looks like to my Dickinson. Coda sub-sea warfare stock. Nice. Got some defense. Yes. Defense. Is it this? No. Sir, how about a fucking sub-sea? Okay, it must be this. The Octopus Group. Yeah, aerospace and defense. Interesting. 4-hour time frame, don't really care for. Weekly. Overall, I like it in this position. I think it's getting ready for a breakout here. But the weekly pivot is 11.5. So if you want to fully validate a breakout, you need to see a weekly closure above there. I do think it's a very strong likelihood. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 higher lows in this consolidation already. So I think it's very likely going to break out above there and head towards 16 to 19 bucks. Something like that. It's a pretty big move. It's almost, it's like a 70 to 80% move from where it's at right now. The long-term chart is weird for sure. But short term, I don't think it's ready just yet. Maybe next week it tries this move. Maybe it sells off the top side of the range high. I don't know. But long term, I think that you will get that breakout. It's bullish as long as you're above 780. It's not that helpful, but yeah, that's the next pivot. So fair enough. Okay, cool. What else we got? Maybe a few more, then we'll call it a day. Turbo says Palladium breakout on the daily. Sure. Palladium. On OANDA. Is it a breakout on the daily? I think the weekly is the one to watch right here. Yeah, hidden bullish evidence on a higher low. You're right at that prior high. I think that this is a pretty good shot to just continue with a rally somewhere around like 23, 23.50, something like that. Sounds like a Bond villain company. Yeah, Coda Subsea Warfare. Coda Octopus. Very nasty. Indeed, ma'am. Yeah, I think we shall... Okay, there's some people who actually still believe in the crypto layer 2s and shit like that. Well, that's very interesting. I wish you well, sir. Yeah, I think that's where we'll end things for today. It's been a nice, pleasurable Friday morning here once again. Thank you for joining as always. Wishing you the best as always, too. I don't know if I'm going to have another long-term investing video ready this weekend. I've actually been working on that TA 101 playlist. That... I think I can start releasing this weekend, so I probably will do that. Yeah. It's going to be completely free. And then I'll also create like quizzes for it on Teachable, which I think will be cool. And by the way, I'm also creating full like quizzes for the Crown Trading Bible on Teachable as well. In fact, I'm almost done with that. So keep an eye out for that because there's a lot of content about to be added. Other than that, yeah, we'll call it right there. Wishing you the best of the best. Take care. Much love and see you hopefully